There's one number that tells you the exact moment your money starts outrunning your paycheck. It's not a guess or a motivational poster line. It's a calculation you can run in 10 seconds. For any investor, there's a specific account balance where the market's yearly growth finally matches what you personally put in that year. Below that number, you're the one doing the work. Above it, the math takes over. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. Most people quit within a year of reaching it, right as the formula was about to start paying them back. I'm Heather. I spend my time breaking down investing research, financial data, and the math behind how money actually grows, so complicated financial ideas are easier to understand. This video isn't about predicting what the market will do or telling you what to invest in. It's about understanding one simple calculation that shows when your own contributions stop being the biggest source of growth in your account. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to calculate your own crossover number, see where it lands using a real example, and understand why the years before you reach it may be doing far more work than they appear to be. Let's define the number properly before we use it, because the formula only works if every input is nailed down. Say you invest a fixed amount every month into a broad market fund and don't touch it. The market has historically returned close to 10% a year before inflation. But inflation quietly erodes roughly 3% of that every year. Strip inflation out, and what's left, the growth that actually buys more house, more groceries, more life, lands around 7%. A 7% real annual return applied to a fixed monthly contribution with nothing else changing year to year. And there's an important distinction here. 7% is an assumption for the calculation, not a promise that an investment will earn exactly 7% every year. Real markets move up and down. We're simply using 7% to answer one specific mathematical question. How large does the balance have to become before that expected growth is larger than what you're personally contributing? Now, here's the equation itself. Your yearly contribution is a known number. Multiply your account balance by your expected return rate, and you get your yearly growth in dollars. Set those two equal to each other. Contribution equals balance times return rate, and solve for balance. That balance is the exact point where the market's growth matches what you're putting in with your own hands. Below that balance, your paycheck is the bigger contributor. Above it, the market is. It isn't a feeling or a vibe. It's one division problem, and every investor has their own version of it because it depends only on two numbers: what you contribute and what you expect to earn. Let's put a real example on the formula. Picture someone named Jordan investing $400 a month into a broad market index fund, averaging that 7% real return. Nothing exotic, no stock picking, no timing the market. Just a fixed contribution month after month. First, find the crossover balance. Jordan's yearly contribution is $400 times 12, which is $4,800. Set that equal to balance times 7%. Divide $4,800 by 0.07, and the answer is $68,571. That's Jordan's line. Below that balance, Jordan's own contributions are doing more work than the market. Above it, the market takes the lead permanently and never gives it back. Now let's walk the years and see where that line actually falls. Year 1, Jordan has contributed $4,800. The account, after that first year of growth, sits at $4,800. The market hasn't had a full year to work on any real balance yet, so its contribution this year is close to zero. That's the entire story of year 1. You put in the money, and the market hasn't had anything to grip. Year 5, Jordan has contributed $24,000 total. The account balance is around $27,600. The market has added roughly $3,600 across 5 years, still less than what Jordan puts in during a single year. It's real progress, but it doesn't feel like progress because the number is still small next to the goal. Year 10, Jordan has contributed $48,000. The balance is around $66,300. The market's growth in year 10 alone is about $4,000, close to the $4,800 Jordan puts in that year, but still just under it. This is the year most people stand at their kitchen table, look at the number, and decide the whole thing isn't working. It's also, mathematically, the year they're standing closest to the line they've been trying to reach. And then something changes. Not dramatically, not overnight. There's no notification from the brokerage account telling Jordan that the economics of the portfolio have changed. But mathematically, the next year is different. Year 11, the balance crosses $68,571. This is the number we were looking for. This is the exact moment the formula solves for. From this point forward, in a year where nothing else changes, the market's growth on that balance is bigger than the $4,800 Jordan contributes. The equation has flipped. Jordan is no longer the primary source of the account's growth. The balance is. Year 20, Jordan has contributed $96,000 total. The account is worth roughly $196,800. In that single year, the market added about $12,600, nearly 3 times what Jordan put in. Year 30, Jordan has contributed $144,000. The balance sits around $453,400. The market's growth in year 30 alone is about $29,300, more than 6 times Jordan's yearly contribution, and more than the account's entire balance was at year 10. Same monthly amount the whole way through, same 7%. The only thing that changed is the size of the balance the percentage had to work with. That's the entire mechanism behind the phrase, compounding becomes a wealth machine. It isn't a mood or a mindset shift. It's a balance crossing a specific calculable line, and the account's own math taking over from there. One more thing the formula shows clearly. The balance doesn't cross that line in a straight path. For the first several years, the growth curve sits so close to a straight line of pure contributions that the two are almost impossible to tell apart on a chart. It's only once the balance clears the crossover point that the curve visibly bends away from the straight line and starts climbing on its own. Every account that reaches this formula's line goes through that same flat-looking stretch first. There's no version of the math where the curve bends upward before the balance is large enough to support it. It's also worth showing what changes when only one input moves. Take the same $400 a month, but drop the real return from 7% to 5%. Run the same equation. $4,800 divided by 0.05 is $96,000. The crossover balance jumps from $68,571 to $96,000, meaning the line moves further away and takes longer to reach with the same monthly contribution. Now flip it the other direction. Keep the 7% return, but raise the monthly contribution to $600. The yearly contribution becomes $7,200, and $7,200 divided by 0.07 is $102,857. A higher crossover balance in dollar terms, but because the larger contribution also builds the balance faster, the number of years to reach it barely changes. The formula doesn't care about the story behind the numbers. It only cares what you feed it. Here's the part of the formula most people miss entirely, and it has nothing to do with the crossover line itself. It's about which dollar you're looking at. But there's another part of compounding that becomes even more important once you stop looking at the account as one giant number and start looking at the individual dollars inside it. Run the math on a single $400 contribution made in year 1 versus a single $400 contribution made in year 30. The year $1 has 30 full years to compound at 7%. By the end of the run, it's grown into roughly $3,050. The year $30 has no time left to grow at all. It's still worth about $400 when the account closes. Same amount, same fund, same person, radically different outcome. And the only variable is how many years that specific dollar had to sit inside the formula. Scale that up and it gets sharper. The $24,000 Jordan contributes across the first 5 years grows by year 30 into roughly $172,000. The $24,000 Jordan contributes across the final 5 years is worth close to $28,000 by the time the account closes, barely more than what went in. Same dollar amount, same 7%, same person. The early money outworks the late money by more than 6 times over, purely because of how long each dollar sat inside the equation before the finish line arrived. That's the part the crossover formula doesn't show on its own. It tells you when the balance flips, but it's the years before that flip, the ones that feel like nothing is happening, that are quietly doing the most work in the whole equation. Put all of those examples together and the pattern becomes much easier to see. So the full mechanism stated plainly: divide your yearly contribution by your expected real return, and that's your crossover balance. Below it, you're the engine. Above it, the balance is. And the years leading up to that line aren't wasted years. They're the years building the size the formula needs to work at all. The account doesn't announce the crossover when it happens. There's no notification, no visible jump on the chart. 1 year, the market's growth is just quietly larger than what you put in. And from that point forward, it stays that way. That's the whole formula. Your yearly contribution divided by your expected real return equals the balance where the market starts carrying more weight than you do. It's not advice on what to invest in or when to buy or sell. It's just the math behind a phrase you've probably heard 100 times without ever seeing the actual number underneath it. Run it with your own contribution and your own expected return, and you'll get your own line. Different from Jordan's, different from anyone else's, but built from the exact same equation. If this broke the formula down in a way that actually made sense, tap that like button. It helps this video reach more people asking the same question. Drop a comment with your own monthly number if you want to see where your line falls. And subscribe if you want more of these plain math breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.